Hey runners, I'm Laura and I'm here to give you my first thoughts on running in the new HOKA Arahi 6 running shoe. So I am the Run Tester's resident stability shoe fan. Some might say connoisseur. So I do like a bit more support, a bit of stability when I'm running, and hence these shoes should be right up my street. So the Arahi 6, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Am I saying it right? Who knows with a brand that calls themselves One. But Arahi 6, the 6 update, as you would expect, to this shoe. Now, there's some things that have changed from the 5, some things are the same. So if you are a fan of the 5, I think that you'll probably be a fan of this one. The things that have changed seem to be mainly around the upper. The stability support is pretty much the same as the 5. Straight out the box, they look pretty nice. They've got the distinctive HOKA design that we've come to know, some love, some not so much, but they look like a HOKA shoe. This is a really nice colour, I think. It's nice and subtle. There are 2 other options. There's a black and there's a very bright purple in the women's shoe. Guys, you've got a black again, and then you've got a blue and green and a kind of blue and orange. Nicer blue and orange. Go for that one, not the blue and green, which does scream, I'm a man running. So that upper, they've taken the weight a little bit, they've shaved a little bit of weight out of the upper. Now, if you look at it, it looks pretty padded, this round the front of the toe. That is from the kind of pattern there. It is very light and a lot lighter than it maybe looks. It looks a little bit quilted, yeah? It's not. It's very light, quite breathable material. Then the other change is the tongue, which is very nice and padded. That's a nice plush tongue you're getting there. And the laces, the flat lace that we've come to expect from most running shoes now, it's kind of standard. What varies in running shoes is the length of those laces. This one, I like to do up my top lace hole, which I know isn't everyone's preference, but in a stability shoe, you want to be in there nice and snug. So the laces, there's enough there to do up that top lace hole and to have enough left to double knot. 2 things that I think are really important in a stability running shoe. So that stability that HOKA are offering comes from their J-frame, and that's there to stop excessive inward roll of the foot when you're running. Now, it's the same J-frame, they say, as the 5, so if you're used to the 5, then this is going to be just like putting on a new pair for you. Like I say, the differences are in that upper. So when you first put them on, you can feel that it's a support shoe. You can feel a little bit of the inner sole underneath your arch, and for me it felt like it was kind of cupping the heel of my foot around the sides. On the run, couldn't feel it under my arch, but could still feel that cupping. Now, I know some people that run in support stability shoes have complained that sometimes if that arch is too high, it does rub on the bottom of their foot. But given that I could not feel it under my arch at all, I think probably if I run longer, that's not going to be an issue for me, certainly. The cupping around the sides of my foot made me feel reassured and secure, like my foot was there and so there was some support happening. My feet are on a kind of narrower side of average, so I don't know how, if you're on a wider foot, I don't know how you would feel so much running with that cupping around the sides of your heel. In the men's, there is a wide fit. I couldn't find an option there was an option there to get a wide fit in the women's, but there were none available. So you would have to check whether there is whether that is something that you can get, because to me it didn't seem like there was a woman's wide available. So I took the shoe for a spin around my local park, around Finsbury Park. If you know North London, you will know it. It's got nice wide carriageways, because I wanted to give this a real spin on the sort of pavements that you're going to be using it for. It was nice tarmac and some kind of paved pavements. That's what this shoe's built for, your everyday, easy runs, maybe a medium to long run. Long run you might want a bit of that support as you kind of get tired, but that's the sort of ground that you're going to be covering. So that's where I headed. It was performing well there. It kind of, my feet felt like they were landing as I wanted them to land. Finsbury Park's got some noticeable hills. I wanted to test out the hills in terms of it makes you run more towards the rear of your feet. So I'll land a bit more midfoot. Obviously going to get tired, revert to a little bit more heel striking, but I tend to be midfoot. On the hill, going down, obviously a little bit more heel. And so that was my way of testing, would you be okay in these if you're a heel striker? And I think yes, there was that. Sometimes a shoe can feel a bit blocky around the back, and that you've got that kind of clunky landing. This felt pretty smooth when I was going down the hills, and like I wasn't clunky there. So if you're a heel striker, I think you'll be all right with this. It's got enough kind of round in there that it'll kind of guide you into landing rather than fight against you. At the front there, you can see, you can feel a lot more than you probably would expect from a sole that looks like that. You could feel what's going on in the ground below you in the front. Now, it's going to be an easy pace shoe to maybe kind of the easier end tempo runs, maybe some marathon pace miles, but you're not going to be doing speed sessions in these. When I was kind of picking up the pace a little bit more, it wouldn't be my first choice of shoe for a speed session, let's say, but good, easy, reliable, everyday running shoe. So HOKA have made a lot of the fact that this is quite light for a stability shoe. It's 5 grams lighter than the Arahi 5, which seems to have come mainly from shaving off some weight off that upper. They don't seem to have made many differences to the sole below. So it's weighing in the women's shoe at 216 grams. In the men's shoe, it's 269 grams. So how does that compare? Well, as I say, it's only in the women's shoe 5 grams difference to the Arahi 5. How does that compare to other shoes? Well, the HOKA Clifton in the women's shoe is 215 grams. So you're only taking on an extra 1 gram for getting that support and stability. Men's, I think the Clifton is 250. So you got about 19 grams extra for that support and stability. So in terms of other stability shoes out there, the Brooks Adrenaline is probably one of the highest selling stability shoes on the market, and that is 258 grams. So with this shoe, you're getting quite a bit less weight for the stability. One thing that I would like to be a little bit different about them is that by the sides of my ankle, underneath that little ankly bone bit, I would like to feel a bit more pulled in there. They seem to be a little bit lower and a little bit shyer on coming in. I do like to be feeling kind of anchored into that shoe. I know it's not everyone's taste, but it's my preference. These are my thoughts after 4 miles around the park in them yesterday. We'll see how I feel as my mileage creeps up in them, but I do feel that they'll be making a regular appearance in my running shoe rotation as a kind of throw them on, go for some easy miles round the park.